The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour. And what do we have going on today? Well, we're kind of in light volume, kind of stuck in a trading range. I think I've identified a pattern. Some people are going to apparently disagree with me, but I kind of believe I know what I saw. And I think it is a pattern now. We brought it up on Apple a week ago, and that is that you have earnings where some of the numbers just don't look all that great. And then they tell you that it'll all be great, and they come on to CNBC and really push. That was with Apple. It's kind of the same thing with Disney. We saw them up in the 118 area today earlier. Right now, 113.44. But when you look through it, the one thing you probably want to focus on, irregardless of the action that I think I saw after hours, was that they've come off of that. But pumping various theories out here, the thing that matters, their subscription numbers are down. I think that's it. They're not going to have a lot of difference in the coming years on what goes on at the parks. It is about how many, I think they've got a name for it, but I can't remember what it is now. Something about online engagement or something like that. They got a name for all their streaming services and everything else. You just, you missed. I think that's it. And all the talk on CNBC, all the various hacks that they brought on, really not going to change it. Is it a bad property? Probably not. But I'm thinking I'm starting to pick up a pattern, which is Apple really kind of missed. I really saw a lot of folks come out and push it. Disney did what I think was a miss, certainly dropped on revenues for that streaming services. I think that continues to be kind of a theme out here, and that is that they are really pushing a lot of these stocks, which means they're probably at the very high end of some level of fair value that anybody is willing to pay for. So that's part of it. I got some other stuff that's going on. AI was down 10%. I didn't talk about it yesterday because I didn't have a time to take a look at it. I don't know if it even happened after. I don't think it happened after the show, but they had a big demo in France for Google. And, of course, we've talked about Bill Gates being a demo god back in 1986, showing Word having 3,000 different bugs that would have blown up and given it the blue screen of death. Apparently, the Google folks are just the opposite. Everything blew up in their example of their chat GPT. And, of course, they got thumped for it. We saw a huge run into everybody into AI. The one thing I learned early on was that almost nobody made money on the software in AI. They almost all made money by selling the service on some kind of cloud service and putting it together. That is today, whether it's picture identification, that kind of stuff. We saw Chat GPT, which is a product from OpenAI, which is a consortium of many people. I think Musk put $1 billion into it. We also saw Microsoft put about that much, maybe a little bit more into it. So there are a lot of big guys in Silicon Valley that put the money in to get this thing started. But we've seen it go from a value of about $500 million to $60 billion for a valuation on some of the shares that had traded out there. So what else do we have going on? That's it. Okay. What do we have? Someone asked if Disney plans to buy back its stock. The only thing I saw was in the list that they are talking about reinstating or changing the. I'll have to go back and look at it. They were going to work on the dividend and maybe reinstate it or move it back to where it was. I didn't pay too much attention to it at the time because I thought the bigger issue was they're really two kind of companies, and splitting everything up was kind of an idea. But, in the history, it is rare that all those things work out and make anything better in a year or even two. Most of those things by selling off the sports division or other things like that just take a lot of time. They rarely turn into instant money. And like I said, maybe a year or two down the line, you've got something. Stock markets generally like to discount stuff 6 months to 9 months out. So anyway, we've got other things going on here. Anyway, Disney 113. I'm just curious. I think it'll say a lot on whether or not this closes. And, of course, I've looked at some of the others out here. Let's go back. I was looking at Apple. Again, this was one that when you looked at the earnings, you thought, well, certainly could get slaughtered. Could be a big deal. But man, have they been pushing it. My theory has been that they're really into distributing a lot of these stocks right now. What is it, the other one? Uber out with earnings last night, kind of the same thing, or day before. You did get a lot of push on this, a little bit of a pullback to about 36. We'll go through the rest of the stocks out here with earnings in a little bit, but the ones that, of course, are really interesting are the ones that move the most. We've got Sonos, which is kind of been a forgotten stock for a while. Apparently, according to the conference call last night with Sonos, they're basically saying there wasn't enough money in this for Microsoft or Apple or the rest of the folks, and they've kind of wandered on and into other sectors, and it's easier for them now to compete against those bigger guys just because the size of the business isn't that big. At least that's my interpretation of what they said. Certainly a big move for them. This thing has been short. People have been short this one for a very long time. What is that? Sono, right? I'm going to see what that is. On a bi-monthly. Yeah, they've got about 4.3 days to cover. I don't like being short anything with more than about 3 days to cover. So it is a little rich. Now, on the daily basis, this thing, well, as they went into earnings yesterday, had about 20% on the day. Doesn't tell you how many people went home short, but does tell you that at least yesterday they were active in front of it. The week before, it wasn't all that bad, but I think that 4.5 days to cover is kind of what the tail of the tape today. We'll be back in again.
Currencies, commodities, and bond markets are as important as ever right now with how they're driving the volatility in equity markets across the globe, which is why it's a great time to try out Teddy Kegstad's Tiger Forex Report. Teddy Kegstad breaks down the Forex markets every Monday using his 30-plus years of experience as a trading veteran of futures, Forex, stocks, and options. Teddy releases his weekly Tiger Forex Report every Monday morning with coverage of all the major currency pairs, including the dollar index, the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar Swiss, dollar yen, as well as many more, and he also has weekly coverage of the crude oil market and the 30-year T-bonds, as they both influence Forex markets tremendously. When you sign up for the Tiger Forex Report, you also gain instant access to Teddy's 60-minute webinar archive he just hosted, Forex Strategies and Fundamentals, What is Behind the Tiger Forex Report. For all the details and to start your 30-day Tiger Forex Report subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month. And try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors. Are you looking for a way to consistently add winning trades to your portfolio? Tom O'Brien is here to help. Tom O'Brien has been successfully trading markets for over 30 years. A frequent contributor to TD Ameritrade Network and CNBC, Tom O'Brien founded TFNN over 20 years ago to help educate investors just like you. Tom's daily market newsletter, Market Insights, is published every morning when the markets open to give you the competitive informational edge you need to succeed. These newsletters are packed full of Tom's advanced technical analysis and are geared to deliver comprehensive strategies for a successful portfolio. Get Tom O'Brien's newsletter, Market Insights, today and try all of our products and newsletters 30 days risk-free with our money-back guarantee at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
As we go back, let's do a little bit of history, and then we will move on. On this day in 1969, the first test flight of the Boeing 747, they chose the same date, 6 years after the first test flight of the Boeing 727. 6 years seemed to be a long time. I can't find this purposeful consensus. Does anybody that work at Boeing have any info on this? Anyway, pretty interesting in 1969 that they had it. Pretty much the safest plane that has ever been built that has carried folks. The big loss of life has not been because of the airframe. Why they've had really two big accidents over all of that period. Both of them were easily preventable. One was on, I think, a runway in Cyprus, where one 747 full of people ran into another 747 full of people, and it's been the worst air disaster ever. They were running around in fog where they couldn't see 10 feet in front of them until one tried to take off and hit the other one on a runway, pretty much in a deserted part of the world. And, well, other than that, everything else has been pretty good. They lost over the years 52 different plane hulls, why the planes were flying, but none really for any kind of big problems. Interestingly enough, this coming out early put a lot of pressure on McDonnell Douglas for their DC-10s. And when DC-10s started flying within about a year, they had a major problem. They didn't want to re-engineer the plane because they were several years behind the 747. That problem was with a cargo door. It blew out twice. Everybody knew about the problem in the McDonnell Douglas plane. It ended up with, at one point, only a couple people dying, and then an entire plane load dying in Turkey, I think about 1976. But that's why McDonnell Douglas never ended up being the giant that Boeing did, or was able to compete with them long term. And of course, everybody, I think, watched the flight in 87 where the DC-10, the engine on the top of the tail blew up, and we saw the results of that too. But, they got it right. They did it right. And in engineering schools, they still show how Boeing's wings could be bent up to about a 45-degree angle before they busted. It probably will be the most over-engineered plane, that along with the Boeing B-52 that we ever see. 877-927-6648. Okay, what else do we have here? Just, if you've never been on a 747, I think you missed something, especially, of course, before my time, when they had the piano player, or was it an organ player, in the bar upstairs. Man, that had to be a great time to be alive. But sometimes, there's been a lot of moves in aviation. The 747 dropped the cost of the 707 from LA to Hawaii in 1970 from $1,050 to $450. So over 50% drop, which shows you just how much more efficient a 747 was. And, that was pretty much what we've seen the last 50 years of that, with some other problems. The only thing I see real problems with Boeing going forward that we've talked about before is how many pilots we have because of some of the requirements to sit in the right seat. That is the co-pilot. Is 1,500 hours here. We're having some real problems getting enough pilots for what we need. In Europe, that's I think it's 300 hours. So a huge difference. But we're probably going to have to extend the pilot's retirement age from 65 to 67 over the next couple of years, or we're all going to be wishing we were flying and staying home a great deal more. Disney 112.79, so we're still a buck higher than we were yesterday. But I'm kind of using that as a canary in the coal mine as we see some other stuff. NASDAQ now down 70, and we're down 23 on the S&P 500. 877-927-6648. Okay, let's get back to the market already in progress. Okay, that's what I wanted to do. And the big movers of the day and shakers. You did open up a little stronger on Autodesk. You're basically going sideways today now with not much. Baxter International did gap down. Let's go back a little bit farther. Man, I think you got to go back a lot of years now. Do I even have enough years to go back? I don't think so. 38.58 is the low of the day on BAX, and tons of volume. So that does not look good whatsoever. BBWI, another one out here, and I'm not going to say there's much in that. Borg Warner, BWA, had a nice little, what looks going to be like could be a doji out here. We continue along up to $50.79 as we see that. And big kind of flagging pattern out here in that. As again, we're probably heading a little bit lower. C-Day, I don't know much about this company. You're back up again the February 2nd. You had 2 million shares. You had a lot more volume today, but giving it up. Looked at Disney, pretty much giving up all the pop from earlier. EFX, which is Equifax, maybe it's making a hammer down here. Next support comes in about 195 for Equifax. Expedia, just kind of going sideways. I think they're out after the bell, or is it another travel company? I'll have to look at that during the break. FIS, Fidelity National, not much going on in that one. Fox, you had a gap the day before on earnings, just kind of doing more of the same today. FRT, which is Federal Realty Investment Trust, did try to move much higher. It's given it all up to get again today on light volume. International Fragrance, well, maybe it was a big raspberry out here, because this thing is probably going to get the Bad Chart of the Day award. Looks to me like it's going to go down and test 83.14. That has 2.3 million shares down there. You already have 9 million today. We'll be back in a minute.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartleys, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're going to look at the rest of them. Yeah, a lot of volume in international flavors and fragrances. Okay, INTU, Intuit. When you get around to it, no volume today. Not much going on there. IPG, of course, they make a lot of stuff for. Now I'm questioning my own sanity here. Consumer advertising, digital marketing, plans and media buying, public relations, specialized communications. That looks like that has snapped. Don't have a lot of volume yet in it. LNC, Lincoln Electric, these guys are big in robotics. Of course, if you've ever been on a job site, you've seen their welders everywhere, whether they're working on your car or something. Just kind of interesting to see that not much has happened in that one. After the bell last night, we got a lot of push in the stocks from Las Vegas and Macau. You're still a little bit higher in Las Vegas. Bookings are very good. Volume is not. So we'll look at that. I think it's more of a market thing than that. But now on Masco, you did open lower. This one is one bucking the trend. It did kind of run everybody out on the short side up to $57 earlier in the day and then pulled back. Mattel, it certainly had its problems today, down on a lot of volume. Not too far off the lows of the day, 16.21. We talked about this one and Hasbro both having issues, and mostly the balkanization, that's with a B, not like vulcanization like a tire, but balkanization like all the tiny countries over in Europe that are all split and at war with each other all the time. With streaming and the DC universe and the other universes, of which none of them I watch, hasn't really come out with the big toy other than 2 years ago for Baby Yoda. And generally, these companies have been making a lot of hay by those connections to anything from like Toy Story movies, that kind of stuff. And you really just haven't had that kind of show that everybody has watched. I mean, I can remember in the 90s when everybody would talk about what was on Seinfeld the night before. You just don't have that many people all kind of getting together on one thing as much as you did, when there were only 3 or 4 choices for stuff to watch. But certainly, whether it's Material or it's Hasbro or Mattel, both of these companies, I think their biggest problem is just that. They need some kind of way to sell to kids that gets them all together, and there is a lot of balkanization of that market right now. MGM, another one in that Las Vegas space. This one's holding up a little bit better out here, although you do have a doji on some decent volume, but way off the highs. $54.64 with 9 million shares today so far. That's compared to a little under 4 million yesterday. So that business still looks good. Of course, the travel restrictions being dropped in China helps Macau and all those related parts. But I think from what I read earlier this morning, it's more right now about just how packed Las Vegas is. Molina Healthcare did pop to 316.51 today. It gave it all back up. Not a lot of volume either. MPWR, a nice pop for Monolithic Power Systems. Unfortunately, it got within about $10 of the August 11th high and has given half of it back. You've got about 3 gaps out here, and it's kind of tough to see that this thing has a lot left in the tank. Certainly had some good volume, so you'd probably want to wait for it to try to retest those highs again if you're thinking short on it. NetEase, certainly just kind of going sideways, don't see a lot. Penn National Gaming, man, there may be a lot of traffic, but it doesn't look like a lot of people are buying stuff from Penn. To PVH, sideways action. Ralph Lauren. On the retail side, a little bounce here today. Gave 2/3 of it back, I'm going to say, on lighter volume, up on 1.5 million shares. Did gap down yesterday on 3 million shares. You got half of it back. We already talked about Sono. On the chart basis, this has come back and done exactly what I think you want on a short position. I think there's on any of these, I want to give it 3 days. So I'm not a big fan of going after this now. Tough to tell, but I think that there's better fish in the sea than trying to reshort this one. One, I don't like stocks under $30 to short. The other side is, of course, that this has pretty much done exactly what you wanted. You gapped down back on August 11th of last year with 26.5 million shares. You're only up with less than 8 million shares so far today. Still a good day on a bad day in the markets. Down 80 on the NASDAQ. Still what? 24 on the S&P. So it's holding up a bit better. A big gap down for Steris. And of course, provides infection prevention, other procedural products and services worldwide. Healthcare, applied sterilization technologies, life sciences, and dental. Didn't know they were into dental. But certainly down, fairly decent volume. They're back into support here. STX, Seagate Technologies, and just kind of sideways on no volume there. TPR, Tapestry. Of course, this one was a big winner in the COVID lockdown era. A lot of people on the wrong side of this one. If this would, I do like this pattern out here. If you were to get yet another pullback below this, you did go above it today, but I'd like it to go sideways for a couple of days. The next move back below, my guess would be that this is going to pull back maybe to $39. Tesla, this has been the gift for longs in Tesla, mostly because these people just cannot stop shorting it. We see the FINRA data every day in the 40% range, so darn near 1 out of every 2 shares is being shorted. Now, maybe they've covered that before the end of the day. My guess is a few people hang out overnight and get squeezed out yet again. You got to 214 today. Volume is going to be a little bit better than I thought earlier in the morning. My guess is if they haven't quit shorting, this thing's going to continue up and just squeeze them, squeeze them, squeeze them. We'll be back in a minute.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Yes, I will give you papal dispensation if you or some of the people that have been shorting Tesla today. Just call in and I'll bless you. But also chastise you for shorting a stock with 40% people shorting every day. I have gone through this data since 2010. It is incredibly rare to see a stock stop going up, or at least going sideways, until the shorts quit shorting. But I've done it before, so I'm not saying I'm not guilty of doing the same thing. I've just lived and learned, and that is stay away from stocks where people are all doing 40%. Shorts every day because, the ability to get taken out on any kind of decent stop is just too high. There are too many other stocks in the sea. 877-927-6648. Bless me, Father, for I've shorted Tesla. Okay. 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com. Workday. Man, it's trying. It's chewing. But man, it's, I think, up against some fairly tough resistance levels. Win the last on our gaming stocks for the day. Kind of looks more like MGM. You got to 111.77 today. You got some decent volume, but it's kind of hard to break the tail of the tape today with the markets sliding a bit. But again, not enough volume here for me to say that this is a trend, other than I think a lot of people waiting for the weekend and seeing what's going on. I continue to speculate that we are at some highs and that the big players of Wall Street are willing to push many of these stocks, whether it be Disney or Apple or some of these other ones, and they are distributing into it knowing that there's some bigger problem, either with the stocks or the general markets. So they want to get a lot of people into it and then rotate out of it. So anyway, Win, nice day. Is it the biggest thing in the world? No. But that's it. Now, I said I was going to get into it, and I am. And that are just how many stocks that are gone straight up, but are now starting to flirt underneath the 3x3 displaced moving average. In the case of Airbnb, you've got to go back to the last day of last year, or 2022 if you live in Lutz. This thing has done nothing but go straight up. I think they've got earnings Tuesday, maybe next week. I think they're coming up. Axcelis, another one out here. And again, if you're looking for stocks that can whip back, you want to look at these and look at the short sell numbers on them to see. But a lot of these have done nothing but go up for 15 or 20 days. And we've seen what happens when the music stops. and they quit beating the buy drums on CNBC. There are a lot of people crying. Let's see what else we have in here. AIMC, nothing in there. Errors. Not much in that one. AL, Air Lease. That looks interesting. Again, I'm looking for double repo patterns. That's a pattern from Joe DiNapoli. I learned early on that back then, if you had 15 days straight up, you probably just went short then. Today, it can last a lot longer for a variety of reasons. But for the most part, Air Lease has gone straight up back from the 23rd of December. You've now got a couple of days closing underneath it. The pattern is one more close above the 3x3 displaced moving average, maybe a couple of days, and then the next move back below starts the retracement, and generally they're fairly strong and steep and fast. Align Technology, of course, this is the company that has the invisible braces. Coming off of earnings, I wouldn't go after it that much, but it has done well. Alaska Air Group, everybody's traveling. This one's a little bit more like that double repo pattern that I'm seeing setting up. You can go back to $43 on this. But again, what you look for is a little bit of a push higher and then the giant failure. The problem is right now, the light volume on just about everything out here makes it say that we want to wait for that signal and not anticipate it. Altair Engineering, very light volume out here. This thing has been going up since $44, got to 59. Now it's going sideways. You got your first close yesterday underneath the 3x3. The second one, a little bump on no volume, and then the close back below it would cause some problems. Not enough volume for me to play, but that is some of the patterns out here. Let's go ahead and find some of the other ones. AMPL, Angie's List. A lot of these are low dollar stocks. Let's see out here. What was the one that I was thinking of? This is one that I brought up yesterday with one of my subscribers. And you got to think the snapback is going to be pretty rich in bookings. And I know we have a couple more travel companies coming up for earnings in the next couple of days. This would take you back to $1,950 for that on a double repo pattern if it completes. You got underneath it a little bit yesterday, but generally you'll get a couple of days below it, a couple of days above it, and then the next move down is where you get all the energy. But this one is just so massive. But one of the things I really like on these kind is not only this, but when they went up without a lot of short selling. And I think this one has next to nothing in the way of shorts. Most people don't short $2,500 companies, by the way. But the big thing is, if you get it, you got $600 to the possible downside on this. And if I could get the right time frame, I get the right signal, I'd love to see a put on bookings.com or Priceline. I don't know why they changed the name. I like Priceline. Got used to Priceline, and they changed it on me. I'm not big on change, but you know that, don't you? Okay, other stocks out here. Again, there are literally, I probably have 500 of these stocks that have at least 15 or 20 days higher. A lot of these are in the travel sector. That's why I kind of look at this. You got your first day dipping underneath on Carnival. Again, I wouldn't short it. Way too high, but maybe that bookings.com is a better way to play those when they do kind of turn without all the accoutrement of heavy shorting. Okay. Okay. Charter Communications. Now this one is set up with what you could say is a fairly decent double repo pattern. What you don't have is the volume today. Normally, when this second break down on a top for the double repo pattern, you get volume. we'll keep an eye on this for tomorrow. Be back in a minute.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years, with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
As we come back and get ready to wrap up the day, we're in a trading range here. Volume is not good. We're just now at 7.8 billion shares on the day. So we didn't have any energy up. We haven't had any energy down. It does look like we're waiting for another shoe to drop. I am bearish overall in the market. I have yet to see what I want to see to go whole hog bearish. We're only looking for about 100 points lower in the S&P cash into next Friday. So it's not the end of the world. The end is nigh kind of stuff. But we don't have a lot of volume either way. And I think I was talking to one of my other subscribers today. And as Warren Buffett said, the market is a way of taking the money from the impatient to the patient. I think that there's a big trade out here, probably in options, and I'm watching it closely. I just not seen any of the burning bushes I've seen in the past that make me act. Now, sometimes they're just so subtle that you really don't see them, but I have a lot of setups that show that we could bounce, go down to 4,000, bounce a little bit, that would set up maybe a lot of these double repo patterns to see that late in the month we have a lot more destruction, but really just not a lot of power on the upside or downside now. So while you can trade the charts on a 15-minute or 30-minute basis, I don't see a lot that says you have the confidence to go overnight on a lot of stuff. More earnings tonight, but really we're kind of in the period now where not a lot of them are probably going to matter through midweek next week. So I think it's going to be more of the market direction than news or news headlines that drive the market, at least after tomorrow. So when you can, not when you have to, hang on for Tom O'Brien to wrap up the rest of the day here on TFNN.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to